Hello, it's Christine from the channel Christine and Celeste, and it's Sunday morning. I was doing things around the house and I'm going to work this afternoon, but I thought following last night eclipse, I would share a spread which goes pretty deep. So I used my two, how can I call them? Shadow work deck or looking at deep shit deck or I think they're my darkest decks I own because I'm not a very dark deck person, but it's good to have a couple of dark decks in the collection just to go deeper and have a stronger message. Sometimes when it's too light you don't get that strong message. With these cards you do. So I chose for a 3-card spread, of course linked to last night eclipse of what I need to let go of, and also to the earth star chakra, which I will talk about again if you're not familiar with it. The Raven's Prophecy. Hi, Tarot Quest. The Raven's Prophecy. So I don't have the box anymore. I suppose it was one of these big Llewellyn boxes that, take all your space in your house, and I didn't want to keep. And I must admit, the first time I saw pictures of this deck, it was love at first sight. Hi, Kirsten. And you know me, I'm not into dark decks at all. But when I saw it, I felt this was a mirror. This deck was a mirror, the Raven's Prophecy. And funny enough, when you read, I think, her introduction, she does talk about something like this. I don't know if I can find it again. No, I won't. Of course, I'm live. I won't find it. But yes, tarot is at its best when it becomes absolutely intuitive. Ultimately, you should glance at a spread and see a story about you, a wise mirror. And this is really what I feel like with her cards. Like they are a wise mirror. I love this deck. It was published in 2015. And it's one of my lifetime decks that I will never let go of, because it gives me that depth in the reading when I want to really, it's like putting a mirror in front of myself and staring at myself. I gilded it orange, and it's a shiny type of orange. I don't know. Yeah, you can see it. It's just, it's one of my very much loved decks. Also, although I know the orange borders, but I've grown accustomed to it. It's a tarot deck that's a bit minimalist, as in it's, but it still follows. If you learned with the Rider-Waite, it still follows the Rider-Waite. You can link all the cards to Rider-Waite. And the other deck I chose is the Shamanic Healing by Michelle A. Motuzas. Great box, great decks. Nothing to say about the production. A little bit shiny for me, but it's a beautiful deck. It goes way deep in the earth when you need to go down there and see the roots of your problem. And it's not just the root as in the root chakra, but the root as in the seed you planted deep in the earth and what's come from it. And this is a wonderful deck for these two. It doesn't look like much, but yet when you use it in a reading, you're able, well, I am able, but I suppose other people too, it's not just me, it's not exclusively me, to link it to your question. So 2 wonderful decks I'm using today to go deep, see where I planted a seed of an issue I have, because I love to work in a transformative way with tarot. Yes, of course, I do spreads. Will I get the job and all that? I do that too. I love predictive tarot, but I like to work and because you see, it taps into the subconscious, and subconscious as its name for something is that you're not conscious of it. So it brings back that subconscious that's deep, deep, deep within you, and puts it in the front of you like a mirror. And this is what I like with it. I'll give you an example. I met an astrologist, yeah, in a fair in February, and we talked about an issue I have, which I don't really want to get into, but the root of it. But he said to me, the result is that you're buying. I'm not the only one. I wasn't talking about decks, but if you're buying too much, you're just buying all the time. And I said, well, I used to when I lived in London. I mean, the high street. Oh my God, there. But now I've quieted down and no, I'm not buying. No, I'm not. And I was like, no, I'm not. You're wrong. I'm not. And then he said something to me. He said, but if you go and buy a T-shirt, for example, don't you go and buy the same T-shirt in two colors? And I was in the middle of a fair and I burst out crying because I do, but I didn't realize. So knowing this, he brought it to the conscious. You see, it was something subconscious. I had to buy a pair of shoes in two colors, the same pair in two colors, everything in two different colors. But I didn't know that it was Heidi, that it was something so deeply ingrained that I didn't know I was doing it. So following this, now it was in my conscious mind. I tested myself and I went into a store to buy a T-shirt. It took me 3/4 of an hour not to buy a second one, to go to the till, because it was so ingrained in me that I could just not buy one T-shirt. And believe me, it was a fight. I was talking to myself like a mad woman in that store, going, no, I'm just buying one. I'm just buying one. I want to get rid of this. So just to show you how the subconscious can trick you, not purposefully, but because it's just not out in the air, out in the open. And this is the point of using these two decks, the Raven's Prophecy and the Shamanic Healing deck, because they bring things back to the surface from deep, deep, deep within you. So what is my spread? It's a spread I use for myself, and I don't know if I've seen it somewhere or if I developed it myself, throughout the years. I'm not too sure. But it's a simple 3-card spread, but so powerful that I don't need other cards. So first of all is the issue. What is the issue I need to look at and work on? And you've got here the Three of Swords. And I must admit, I don't really like the Three of Swords with the heart. Although it has a point though, because air, the suits of air is the heart chakra. The heart chakra is air. So yes, it does have a point, but when you see you've got like 50 tarot sets and all the 50 have a pierced heart, it just gets boring. But anyway, so here, what do we have? We have, let's say, my hands, because it's for me, right? And the fingers are intertwined like this, so it's not a prayer, it's more holding on type of grip. It's gripped. It's like, oh my God, I've got to go through this, right? Don't you have the feeling? It's like, oh, let's hang on, let's stop breathing for a minute because I need to go through this. And then on the top of it, it's pierced by these mini swords or mini knives or whatever they are, 3 of them, and then bleeding. And I'm very deeply touched seeing this picture, because it's profound how my thoughts are stopping my creativity, are hurting me from doing things, because hands is what you take, what you give, right? It's what you create with your hands. It's your expression. I mean, I'm Latin, so I use my hands when I talk. I use a lot my hands a lot. It's my hands I do my mudras with to manifest. Um, I do. Well, without hands, it would be so difficult. So imagine that I didn't cut my hands off there, but I stopped them from moving, from creating, from existing, really. And even worse, not only I stopped them from moving, but I hurt them. So this blood is coming out from it. So I'm deeply touched by this picture. So if you have the Raven's prophecy, try it. What's the issue that needs to come up to the surface following this eclipse we've just lived, this worldly eclipse? As you can see, one sword is double bladed. One comes from the left and one from the right. So it's like past, present, future that is affected by this issue. Um, the thumb of the non-dominant hand, which is the left hand for me, is on top. So it's even more the past and the creativity that is absolutely stopping me. And so it means that it's an old idea. It's an old pattern that keeps coming back and back and back. So I don't know what she says in a book. I brought the book just in case, I had a blank because it happens when you're live. Um, so here we are. Now, how do I transform it? And the shamanic healing has got the right name. I'm not a shaman, I'm not a witch, I'm just a person who uses tarot and tries to answer some deep questions, right? So, all these big terms, shamanic and healing, yes, but at the same time, it is the right name for this deck. So, what do we see here? First of all, it's number 40, it says retreat. And you can see we go from a 3 to a 4, right? And a 0. So 4 is the next step if we talk about numerology. It's grounding because it's the square and the square is here. It's grounding things. So we go deep, deep, deep into the earth with this issue, right? To transform it. We go into not just the root chakra, we go beyond. We go in the earth star chakra, the one that is linked to your incarnation, right? Deep down in the earth. So it's something that I've always had. I came with it. I believe that I did not throughout life. I probably fed it, but I had already the seed in me. And you see some movement here on the card. So there are layers. So we're here on the earth, and then we go deep inside. So we're starting to put our, I can call it energy. We dump it in the earth and then it goes down and down and down. And here it even looks like a sky here. It's like the infinite of the earth, right? And it goes all the way down to this wonderful little bird. And it's funny because my mother used to draw her birds like this. So it really talks to me. These cards are amazing. And this bird is making it lighter because birds obviously take off and have a vision that is above everything. So, what is this telling me? Well, I know about me, obviously, but I know that I've been through therapy lately because I wanted to work out these issues that were blocking me. And as a result, one of them is my creativity, is my self-confidence, is the way I position myself into this world. I don't want to sound over dramatic. I'm fine. Everything's fine. But we all have issues, and when we go deep inside, it can be um, like transformative, but you have to put your feet in the mud. You do. There's no other way. I don't know, I don't know a fantastic healing when you just um, throw love and light and then everything's perfect. For some issues, you need to go and put your feet in the mud. And that's what I'm doing here. I've been doing it since, where is it? April, maybe? March, April. Hi, Klikli. I'm not sure how we pronounce your name. Hi, welcome. So going deep down, and I do this. I go every day down, deep down in the earth, and go and dump my stuff to the earth, and ask the earth, the crystals in the earth, to transform this energy into positive energy, to transform these thoughts that are crippling me, crippling my creativity, the way I position myself in a word, to be transformed. So I have my little spirit animal here. And as I said, my mother used to draw birds like this. So I'm very touched by it. And, after this, it's your belief. But, it could be that my mother is there to help too. And what is he doing? Look, he's making a nest out of it. A comfortable nest. So what was your dumping then becomes your comfort and you're protected. So it's worth, if you have issues, working through them. I'm not saying cards will transform you, but cards will make you aware of the issue. And then you have to do the work. And often I found out that it's difficult to do the work only by yourself. You need some help, be it therapy, be it anything that, sport or whatever helps you. But so I go from being crippled by my thoughts, being unable to use my hands, express myself, to dumping all this in the earth and it being transformed and making a beautiful nest for myself. So, what is the result of this? Well, it's the Three of Coins. And so we go 3, 4. Oh, I forgot to talk about the 0. New beginning. It's the Fool, 4 and 0. So not only we're becoming stable now and comfortable, but also with the 0, it's a new start. So it's a new way to behave. This is no more. This is on its way out. The therapy, the eclipse last night, just finished it, and the curtains were pulled down on it. And this is it. This is no more. To become these 3 roses. Now, I love this 3 of Pentacles. The traditional Rider-Waite doesn't quite do it for me. I don't really like the picture on it. This one talks to me. It looks like 3 people on stage, these 3 roses, 3 creators on stage, and they're looking at the crowd, and they have the 3 lights coming straight in their eyes, right? To shine the light on them so people can see them. So you see how transformative my months of therapy and my years of questioning, because you don't get there in 1 minute. There's the whole work previous to that, as in you want to make yourself better. You meditate even when you don't want to. You go to that yoga class, even if it's raining and cold. You know what I mean? It's all that. That's the weekly, daily, hourly effort that bring you there. But also the big help I got. I got help from a medium. I got help from a therapist. I got help along the way in my life. But for this particular issue, I must admit that the medium that I see, who does transformative work, and the art therapist too, really helped me dealing with this. So I go from not being able to express myself and create to being right center stage and have the light shine on me. But I had to go deep in that mud, and I had to dump everything there and understand what this my subconscious was trying to tell me. Excuse me while I just have a a little drink of coffee. It's still morning, and so how does it sit with you, this spread? So that's the issue, how to transform it, and that's the result. It's very easy. Hi, Stella. It's very easy, but it's very deep. It's not a spread, once again, that you just go, okay, next. Will he call me back? It's not exactly this type of spread. It's something you sit with, and then I will talk to this bird that is here at the bottom of the card. If you're doing this spread now, just let me know if you got a card, what card you're using, or what card you're thinking of using, and what is coming up for you. I just saw a post on Facebook where it was with the Rider-Waite, and although it's not a deck I love, I like to look at people's spreads. Some of them inspire me, and I stop and I comment. And there was the Fool, and if you remember, the Fool in a Rider-Waite looks on the left and then passes a rose. I think it's a rose on the right. So I was wondering, who is he passing the flower to? And there was the word next to it, and the word with the two batons in her hand. And so this Fool was giving the flower to the word, and then the word was spreading it. And I saw this was just such powerful cards, and I don't even like the Rider-Waite. So you can do it with any deck. But I must admit that when I want to dig deep, I like to choose this type of deck that, are dark, but not dark vampire, but dark earth dark, where there's no light, where you go deep in the earth and there's very little light there. Anyone is thinking about using any decks for this spread? So the issue that you want to deal with, the one that's deep in your subconscious, the transformation, how to transform it, and the result. And you don't need 10 cards. 3 is enough, because now I need to sit with it, talk to these birds. Let's see what this bird is telling me, because this bird has a lot more to tell me. I can see some details that right now don't mean. Where's my pen? Like here, for example, is that a victory laurel? It might look like this, the victory laurel. And what about that? It's like a golden rainbow. So there's plenty to look at on each picture. Maybe someone would like me to do a spread for them. I can try. But it's deep issues, so if you don't want to do it live, I would understand. But I can keep it light. I could try another set and see. Oops. Okay, Kirsten, yeah. Really, you can use any deck. It's just because I've got an extended collection, and I do like to use all my decks, otherwise they don't stay in my house. So that's why it's the joy of thinking, oh, which deck can I use for this? So let's take another example. I don't know, if nobody would like a spread, I would understand live. It's a bit of a deep issue, but let's see what would come up and how we can interpret it. So that's the issue, right? How to transform it. Let's see. Oops. Oh, this one came upright straight away. And the result. Let's see. It's important to look at everything on the cards. There. So, ah, Page of Cups as the issue. So it's 3 eggs in a nest. It's a funny one for cups, isn't it? Because it doesn't really show as cups, but the youth. The youth is there, as in the children, maybe. And also this protection that the cups give you, because cups are also healing growth, and you can see here, obviously, with the nest, it's growth. Then the 20 is healing energy, and it's egg-shaped. Isn't that wonderful? Don't they go so well together, these decks? And what's the result? The 8 of Swords. What an interesting card to get, isn't it? I love. I don't know if you do mudras. I'm learning them as I go through my years of yoga, and it's interesting how, or if you see Indian dancing, as in from India, how they use their hands to express their feelings. And this is why I love this deck, because although it's not Indian based, or it's the hands are just wonderful. So that's quite a powerful card, because you see here, there's the hand in the egg. There is a whole story here. From 3 eggs, there's one left, and you still have the straw underneath, but it's one we want to look at out of 3. So I would say, for example, I would ask the person if they have siblings. For example, hi Naomi, if they have siblings, because there's 3 eggs, and or maybe they're triplets, which could be the case, or they're waiting for triplets, right? They're expecting triplets. Why not? But this wouldn't be a shadow side to expect triplets. So I would go more with having siblings. And if you have siblings, you know that it's not always wonderful. But there's one in particular here. There's one issue in particular. And this makes me feel pretty intense. It reminds me of the feet in the Margaret Peterson tarot. If you have the Margaret Peterson, you know, you've got the imprint of the feet on some cards, which is pretty deep, and that's what it reminds me of. And I'm not sure, and I don't want to sound over dramatic, but maybe one of the siblings didn't make it. It's possible. It is possible. Or was ill when they were born, or there might be something, and it's traumatic when you have illness in your family. It's traumatic. So this could be the issue. And then the person is now an adult, and that's a younger, it seems to me, in my interpretation, the hand is smaller. So the hand is saying, yes, all this happened, but it's okay, the future will be okay. We're fine here. We're fine. That's the belief I have reading these cards, but I'm not reading for anyone in particular. But you can see how you can build a story with just 3 cards. Because 3 become 1, become 2. That too, you have to ask yourself the question, why do I have 3 in the first card, then 1, and then 2 again? Because I think 1 is not here anymore, and there's only 2 left. So 2 of what? It could be siblings, but it could be something else that you had 3 of, and then 1 was gone. It could be, I don't know, anything. Because it's not a real spread, this one. But so what are we doing here? It's called healing energy, because we're healing the issue here of having a loss. Out of 3, only 2 are left. It's just a wonderful spread. I hope you're enjoying this. Anyone decided to do it and try a deck? So I'll repeat the spread in case you just arrived, because I can see a few people arrived. So that's the issue. We're looking into our shadow side and give it back to the earth and asking the earth to transform it for us. This is the transformation card, how it will be transformed. And this is the happy card. It's the result. So, and it tells me to. I know it's a Eight of Swords and it's portrayed so negatively across most. Oh, Cyclé, would you like me to do a reading for you and try see what comes up? Just put yes or no. Oh, Cleclé, I'm sorry, your name is Cleclé, I think. Yeah. Okay, I'll try. Let's see what comes up. Now, I've never done readings live like this, especially about an issue like this, so please bear with me. So let me tune into your energy, Cleclé. What you need to look at from your subconscious. Let's see. Okay, thank you. So let's get oops. All right. They just jumped out, both of them. So let's see the transformation card now. I don't see. I'm not familiar with your first name, Cleclé. And I don't see a picture with your name. Are you a woman or a man? Just to be sure, you know. It sounds like a woman. Oh, really interesting. You're a woman. Okay, thank you. I've just never heard this name before, so sorry. Wow, the transformation card came up right straight away. You're welcome, Stella. And it's the card of sexual energy, it's called. So you see a horse going backwards. So we're going to see what the horse is looking at. The Two of Cups. We are straight into a relationship issue here. And looking at the two birds, one white, one black. And I love the way, look at their feathers, look at how the feathers are intertwined. How lovely is this? How the cuddle, oh, this is just a wonderful Two of Cups, I feel. The closeness of it. It's like they merge together. So, because it's the issue card, is this about, obviously, I don't want to, it's live, so you're interracial. Oh, you see? I tell you, these two decks together create magic. Yeah, they do create magic. Have no words for their little underrated decks, but oh my god, it's giving me shivers. Yeah. So there is an issue here, and when we talk about sexual energy, we're talking about the root. It's not just sex, so we won't just talk about sex, right? We're talking about the root of it is background issues, for example, that can. Well, let's go back. The issue here, right? Because it's how can you say, oh, this card is a problem? Well, it's the intimacy. It is, isn't it? Yeah, you know what? Since I've started therapy, I create. Well, it's not me. Well, it's me, but it's the universe creates magic for me too, and I'm having magic moments like that, and I just love it. I love sharing it, and this is why I'm doing more and more live spreads like this, and because I want to share a little bit of magic when I'm granted it. So this closeness is an issue. And I don't know why the closeness is an issue. Is it because you're so close that you don't let anyone else in? Or you're so close, you're not able to be that close together? I'm not sure which it is, right? But this is what it's showing, because otherwise it's a beautiful card. And if you keep this picture, you'll probably keep this picture in mind about your relationship, because this is beautiful. Yes, that's it. It's the distance, and this is why it's an issue. You see, these cards, oh my god, I'm getting shivers. These cards are amazing. Okay, so the transformation, sexual energy. And it's a horse, and he's like really going towards there. Um, so when we're talking about sexual energy, we're talking about our root chakra, about our grounding in the everyday world and the physical aspect of it. Horsepower. You need horsepower, guys. Right. Um, Now, is it because you don't live together? Is it a distance, as in you're not living together? It's the distance because there is a distance between you two, and you live together, but you're not intimate. Because there's a backwards here. The horse is not going towards the future, it's going towards the back. It's saying, let's go back to something. Let's maybe a decision. Yeah, yeah, Sagittarius too. Sure, sure. There is an issue between you two, and it was a decision at some point between you two. Let's say if you don't live together, one of you said, "Oh well, I'm not moving yet. I'm not ready," and whatever. Look again at this decision. If it was something like this, because it's going back. So, in order to get this intimacy back, you need to look back at one decision you or him made. I don't know exactly what the difficulty is here, and I'm going to be helped by the little booklet. Why not? Let's see what the 25 sexual energy says. So, in the purest sense, sexual energy is not an energy to be expanded from you, it is a state to reside in. The first and second chakras are the roots of our sexual feelings. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yes, we aren't living together, says Clay Clay. He's moving out of his old place. Yes, we were together. You see? I knew it. I knew it, Clay Clay. It's a decision you have to go back on. Yeah. You need to discuss this issue together and go back to why he decided to move out. It's not solved yet. It needs to be healed. It needs to be put back on the table, and you might scream and cry and have difficult times, but you need to really, really look at this issue together. And we're going to see, I'm sure you can't wait to see what the card will come. I hope it's a beautiful card for you. I'm all love and light. Here I am. I want a good, happy ending always for people. But this horse is telling me, go back to this issue and talk it again. It's a hurt that's happened and it needs to be healed between you two. And if you want that back, what a beautiful. I understand, Clearly, and that's why you need to put your feet in the mud, because fear will just bring more fear. However, if you put both of you put your feet in the mud, you'll know. And of course, we want the best possible result, but sometimes what happens next is not exactly what you wanted, but it will lead to something else, right? If you hold in fear, then nothing will happen, or nothing good for both of you, because you want this. I mean, you know, if I don't know if you have this deck, but if you don't, I'm not an enabler. I try not to be, but get it, because this is your picture of you, both of you. And when I see a picture like this, I know it's a relationship that's worth it. It's worth fighting for. And it's not fighting against each other, it's fighting for each other. You need to transform your fear into a fight for each other. So take your fear, go deep, deep, deep in the earth, right? And how you do that, you imagine under your feet you've got these anchors or whatever, and they take you right deep in the earth. Or you've got a tube and you're going down that tube right deep in the earth, and you go there with your fear about your relationship. And you ask the earth to transform it, to help you transform this fear into wonderful, positive energy for your couple. Isn't that better than just being stuck and staying in fear? And whatever the result is of this, you will both be winners. You see what I mean? And you can do it together if he's open to such practical, a bit woo woo, I must admit, practices. So let's see the third card, because, yeah, the Ten of Wands. And once again, don't think right away. This has nothing to do with the right away. It's linked, but it's not the way I read it. So, quickly, here we are. Look at you. The two birds have become the two horns with lights on them. Right? They come from the same head. And what does it mean? It means that after doing this, you're both thinking the same, you have the same lights, because you both transformed your fear into inspiration, into guiding lights for your relationship. How beautiful is that? But you need to go into that deep mud. Yeah, that's true. What Dee's saying, you're strong because you were able to ask the question. We are live here and people are listening, and it's a personal issue. But look at how beautiful it is. From and also it comes from the ears. So your communication, and I know it's wands, and we're not supposed to talk about communication, but it comes from the ears. You will, as a result, you will listen more to each other. I think there is too a communication issue here, where you're not always listening to each other. And look what you can create together. You can be even inspiring others because you've overcome this. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, it's been such a journey with him, says Clay Clay. I've been wanting us to be on the same page and accept each other as we are. Okay. So I understand. I personally was married at some point, and I very dearly love my husband, and I wanted him to accept me as I was, and it kind of never happened. So anyway, we're not together anymore. But you see, the one thing is difficult. He is who he is, and you are who you are. And I think by talking about this issue that was in the past, and when the break was decided, or the separation, physical separation was decided, you need to go back to that. It needs to be resolved in order to be on the same page, to talk the same, listen the same, you see. And you might be different, it doesn't matter, to understand um, each other and talk the same language. We might be different. We're um, we let's say with your partner, you look at one picture, right? Let's say this one. Yeah, you might say, "Oh, it looks like as a result of a killing, killing deer, and you put it on your wall, and you might see that, and you just see the lights and the horns and the years, because look at that, it's for years. How long does it take? Is it 1 year, I think, for the horns to grow on a deer, and then they lose it, if I remember well. So you see, you have a year here. You also have a timing. I hope this makes sense to you. Yes, and D is saying ones are energy and action, which in itself is communication. It's wonderful. It is. It's a wonderful spread. So there you go. My first live reading in a very long time. I haven't done any readings for anyone live like this for a long time. Kirsten says, "Thank you, Christine. Your way of reading this card make me want to dig out the Raven's prophecy again, with which I couldn't connect quite yet. I understand it's a very different deck, and it's a deck where I have the book, obviously, and sometimes I look at it, but she had to stick to more in the book. She had to stick to more, normal um, meanings, because obviously it's a tarot, but I kind of take out the tarot bit out, and I just read it as elements. And one of my frustration here is, to me, this is more the Two of Water. I, she should have done it with elements, and I don't know. But anyway, um, so this thing, well done. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's my frustrating life for a long time. I wanted to thank you. Here, you see, the heroine is Clay Clay, because she had a live reading about an intimate and deep issue, and she knew it would be deep because it's the spread, the nature of the spread is like this. So thank you for sharing um, your wanting, first your issue, and wanting to grow in the front of other people. So thank you very much for sharing Clay Clay. And on this, I have to start getting ready for work now. But I'm a bit, I think I need to eat, because I'm a bit, my energies are all over the place now, because I'm really touched by this reading. So we all send love and plenty of energy to Clay Clay. You're welcome, Clay Clay. Before we close, and for her issue, and we send her some light, so when she goes deep down, she still sees some light to help resolve her issue. And I'll see you all very soon, and I hope this inspired you to look into one of the issues and finally get rid of it and transform it into light, not only for you, but for others. Yes, we could, but I have to go. But I'll come back with another spread. I like trying different spreads. So thanks very much for all your kind comments and have a great Sunday. Bye bye.